So you guys might not know this about me, but pretty cheap.
Just picked up some lowering springs for his Mustang, and I don't think he knows if they're actually going to lower the car, what brand they are, anything, but he was happy because they're $50.
You guys might not know this either, but I've been having some exhaust issues, exhaust leaks. It's over here, I think. Dirty old H-pipe welds. So when I found these headers, right here, for $50, that's kind of my budget, I jumped on them. These are some old school Ford Motorsport headers, E302. They're made for a carbureted Foxbody, so hopefully they fit. I also got a wideband for another 50 bucks, steel, and then I got some Summit Racing knockoff Flowmasters for 30 bucks, so that's a deal. Head gaskets, goes with these heads. GT40s that we'll be putting on here soon. So stay tuned. So we're gonna be cleaning these up, spray painting them with this high temp paint, 2000 Fahrenheit, should be okay. Today we're just gonna fit them up, put them on the car, make up the new H-pipe for the long tubes, because right now we have an H-pipe for shorties, not gonna fit. And this collector is a 3-inch collector, and all my piping is 2.5, so I had to get this reducer, and I'm gonna put this flex on there. So we're gonna use whatever we can off of this H-pipe and the one that's on the car now, and kind of make it work with the long tubes and these new Flowmaster knockoffs. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take the intake off, take all the plug wires off, get everything out of the way so we can take those header bolts off. So it looks like these will be a bit of a pain to get. Gotta use the socket on the outside, but it doesn't fit on the inside one. So you're actually gonna have to go old school. Use one of these bad boys. Oops, left-handed here. Anyway, that's what you gotta do. Alright guys, sorry about that. Looks like the GoPro died. You really didn't miss much though. It was about an hour worth of taking bolts out, or a quarter of a turn at a time. So yeah, anyway, got the headers out. Sweet, these are cheap ass headers. Alright, so what's left now is just to take the downpipes off. Then we'll be able to fit the new headers on. Okay guys, hours of fighting with this. Finally figured out you have to take your engine mount bolt completely out and raise the engine pretty high, and then this, all right, I got a light. So then your collector for the headers has to slip between where the starter goes and the engine, like the bell housing, right in that little area. So finally got that side. Now the other side, you definitely got to take your steering shaft out, and then what I found easiest was to slide it in from the bottom. Okay, so I lied a little bit. The starter wasn't in, and the way the headers are, I really can't get the starter in unless the headers are out. So I had to take the engine mount out completely, and the alternator, and pretty much hammer these headers in. So yeah. Okay guys, this is where we're at. Long tubes are in. This is an adapter that goes from my 3-inch collector to a 2.5-inch H-pipe that I'm going to build. The only thing is that these headers are made for a carbureted car, so I'm going to have to weld in some O2 bungs right now. And I think I'm going to put it in this piece here so I don't have to cut up the headers and anything. So take this thing off, fit it up, and start welding. Okay, so this is what we're working on. I just drilled 2 holes. They're 7/8, and it fits these universal O2 bungs. I'm gonna weld in now. The reason I'm putting 2 on each downpipe is one's got the O2 sensor for the car, and the other one's gonna be for a wideband that I got these plugs for. so when I don't run it I could plug it up. Okay guys, there you go. I got these things welded in. First time welding some really thick stuff, or really thin stuff, so I went real slow. Anyway, turned out pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna make this look professional. Next part, we're gonna put a flex pipe. Okay, there it is, guys. Got the bungs welded in, got the one flex pipe welded on. The reason I didn't do the other one is because it hits the cross member. So I might have to put like a little straight section and then have the flex pipe there. But what's next is we're gonna try and fit this cat, the other one that's over there, onto these, and then build the rest of the H pipe, and then somehow figure out how to mount those mufflers. Yeah, a little bit of work ahead of us here. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do though is actually put the mufflers in so that I can have an ending point, and then I'll just build the H pipe to go from the headers over there to the mufflers. So one thing I didn't know was that my H pipe was 2.5 inch, which I measured. So I bought these mufflers to be 2.5 inch inlet and outlet, but the guy actually necked it down to looks like 2.25 inch. So it's pretty sloppy in here. Can't really get a clamp on that. So I'm gonna take some 2.5 inch, weld it into my 2.5 inch there, and then I'll be able to clamp my 2.25. I'll have to do that for my tailpipes and my flow tubes. So both ends of those. Okay, so I'm welding with a MIG. So one thing you really want to make sure of, and even worse if you're welding with a TIG, is that you clean up your metal. You're never going to penetrate or even stick to the metal if it's all dirty with the rust on the, because this is an old piece of pipe, and even with a painted surface. So make sure you clean that up. I'm going to grind this off a little bit more, and then give her a try. Okay, I had a few issues there, as you can see, but here's what the weld looked like after I had the welder all figured out. I kind of went over everything that was junky. So this here was pretty bad. I kind of just went over it and make it a little stronger. Not the best. Hopefully I can redeem myself on the next side. Okay, now we're just gonna fit it up in the car here. So I got it on my tailpipes, got a jack supporting it nice and level. And then what we have to do is, you see that hanger there? We have to figure out where, oh Jesus, it's tight in here. Where are we gonna weld it? So I don't know how I'm gonna do this with the camera. I'm probably just gonna put it down. Anyway, mark it up and then push that thing all the way in, figure out where it needs to go, and then weld it. We'll be back. Okay, so there's our two marks. The bottom one is just for the depth, the other one is how far the hanger is going to push into the actual rubber isolator. So what we have to do is we have to clean all these pieces off first, but I'm going to try and weld this over as far as I can, maybe even cut the corner of this hanger here off so I can get it a little bit closer. But like right there is kind of where we want to be, put the hanger on. I just wanted to give you guys a little MG Motorsports tech tip here again. So you're gonna have to clean the surface off, right? Get the paint off. Well, I don't know if you can see. Oh shit! I don't know if you can see that, but I punched it, and that way when you take the paint off and your lines are gone, you can still see the punch marks. Hopefully, that's the idea. All right, guys, there you go. It's cleaned off. You can still see those marks on the bottom there, and there's 3 right there. So let's start welding her. Okay, there it is. It's all done. Looks pretty good. Not bad welds there. I think we're done on this side, so what I'll do is I'll just repeat the same process for the next side. Okay, through the use of moving magic, we're done. No, so I had to make a little spacer here. This is the only piece of scrap I had laying around because the muffler had to go a little bit forward, and that replicates, this is what came off of it, replicates almost the same spacing there. I was able to slide the tailpipe in a little further on the outlet of the muffler, so we're gonna go bolt these up and then hang them and start building the H-pipe. Okay, so here's where we are. We got both mufflers suspended in the car. They're on the hangers, and just got to finish up the H-pipe. So that's what we're working on now. The H-pipe with the shitty welds. I cut it down a little bit so it can fit. Now we got to put this cat, and I think the cat's going to fit perfect in the straight section. Get one on each side. And then we'll be able to keep that crossover. What we'll do is we'll clean up the welds around there and re-weld it. Make sure there's no leaks. It looks like it might have been leaking. Anyway, and then we'll paint everything after that. So we're just going to fit up, make sure this H-pipe fits with the current muffler positioning. And then we'll have to hack it up, put this thing in there. Alright guys, I didn't film the whole process here, but I got everything cut. Everything lines up just perfect. I don't know if you can really see it. I gotta put some clamps on that flow tube there. But both sides are done, and I cleaned up the welds on that H-pipe. So you take these out and start welding them up. There she is. She's all done. I welded her up. I had a few gaps here, that's why there's some pretty ugly welds there. But yeah, there she is. So let's hope the cats are good and I can pass an emissions test. And let's hope none of these welds crack. Okay, I got everything bolted back in the car now. See, it's all bolted up. Everything's pretty good. Now all I gotta do, I'm gonna fire this up, but what I gotta do is actually put this engine bay back together. Mostly just the intake. And then I'll be able to fire it up, put the spark plugs in the other side, and hear how she sounds. It's really difficult to get the starter wire in there with the long tubes. It's really a pain. It's really tight. It's actually touching the headers, but anyway. Got everything else on. One thing I want to show you here, because you've got long tubes. Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I had to get some O2 wire extensions, right? So because they don't reach, because they're pushed so far back. Anyway, we're ready to start it. Let's listen to what she sounds like. Oh, before we start it, I'm just going to record this in case something goes wrong. I did not put the engine mount bolt back in on either side, so the engine's just kind of floating there. Let's hope it doesn't move around too much. Here it goes. Boo. Alright guys, there you go. That's what it sounds like. Not too bad. Some Flowmaster 40 knockoffs, love the sound. The cat's really quiet down a little bit, but you know what? I'll live with it for the environment. For the next episode, we're going to be putting on new heads. These are all gaskets. Boring. Heads are over here. We're going to be putting on these heads and GT40 intake manifold, a new throttle body, a Holly throttle body, bigger MAF, It's gonna be great. Stay tuned.